Hi everyone, Jen Holt here at Inspired by Purpose. So I wanted to talk a little bit today about flexibility. Often I get asked this either as a question or sometimes it comes in the form of a statement. I'm not flexible enough to do yoga. Some people may ask it as a question, do I need to be flexible to practice yoga? If that's something you're curious about, I want to let you know, no. The short answer is no, you do not need to be flexible to practice yoga. First of all, you should know yoga is much more than asana, the physical practice. This is a very, very small part of our yoga practice. We also have concentration, we have breath control, we have meditation. There are many more limbs, much more to the practice than this physical thing. But even when we come to the physical practice of yoga, do you need to be flexible? No. Will some of the poses be a little bit easier if you're more flexible? Maybe. You might be able to move into more advanced variations of poses if you're very flexible, but it's not required. In fact, if you're very flexible, there are a whole nother set of issues that you may run into for yoga, but that's for another video. For today, let's talk about those of you that are feeling very tight. So if that's where you're at, just to know, practicing yoga will help you to open up. Although it might be a little bit uncomfortable when you get started, part of that is just because you're doing something new, taking the body into positions that you may not have tried before. But if you modify, if you honor the body, you'll slowly start to feel a progression happening. So for example, hamstrings. Hamstrings, these muscles on the backs of the legs, for lots of us, they're very tight, and hamstrings get a lot of work in yoga when we do things like forward folds or downward dogs. So when we have very tight hamstrings, one example of a modification would be bending the knees in downward dog to help keep the back long. I'm still getting a stretch through the hamstrings, but it's reasonable for me. And then I can slowly work to lower the heels down, and that'll happen over time. Similar in a forward fold, if you're folding over the legs, you might give yourself a little bend to the knees. You could also try propping up the hips. The pelvic tilt is part of what's happening in our forward folds. So there are lots of ways that you can modify the poses to meet you where you're at, whatever stage of flexibility you're in. If you want to improve your flexibility, you can try our 15-minute stretch classes, which are all about stretching, and it's just 15 minutes, so it's easy to get it in. We also have longer classes. You can try some of our yoga classes. If you like faster movement, I'd recommend vinyasa, where we move with our breath, but we still get stretching in. Or if you like slower movement, you could try a yen class where we come into a pose and then we're holding it for a time. It could be somewhere between 1 and 10 minutes. If you feel like you are a very anxious person, you might try a restorative class. When we feel very anxious, that's going to contribute to that muscular tension. So by helping the body relax, helping the nervous system relax in our restorative practice, we can sometimes help to loosen up that tension that we're holding on to in our bodies. So I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop a comment below. I'm happy to answer that. And I hope to see you here in center, or you can join us for classes online. Hope to see you here soon. Thanks so much.